High-risk investment. Trading on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Before deciding to trade, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Market opinions. Any opinions, news, research, analyses, prices, or other information contained on this video is provided as general market commentary and does not constitute investment advice. Master the Markets will not accept liability for any loss or damage, including without limitation to any loss of profit, which may arise directly or indirectly from use of or reliance on such information.
Hello traders, and welcome to our live trading workshop. We are running a few minutes late, sorry for that, and thank you for all your patience waiting in. We just ran late a little bit, a lot of things going on. I'll update you guys in a minute. Now, in terms of those of you joining in new for the first time, what do we do here at the live trading workshop? What's the format? We first take a look at some live trading, live potential trades, okay, in real time, all right? And then second thing, we cover the topic, also a small topic for today. And what are we going to be covering today? Today is going to be on system versus cash, okay? So those is the topic, and we're going to cover the major reason for inconsistency, okay? And then after that, then we're going to be covering the Q&A as well. So any questions that you guys got, type into the chat box and then we can cover that as well, okay? And any upcoming events as well, we'll be updating you all on that. Right, this and more in this live trading workshop. Traders, those of you who do not know me, it is Still Nauban here, founder of Master the Markets, Trades Conference, and the Traders Open Day. So with that said, let's carry on here. Let me just get I think the volume, yes, I will do that in a minute as well. Let me just close that for a minute. And let me just take a look at the other ones. Yes, so that one is okay. So I'm just going to upload this one more time onto here. Let's see that one. That should load up. There we go. And this one here. I will do that, get my volume up on here as well. Okay, good. So let's go for it. So I'm looking at the gold. Now gold is good. It's a small, tiny bar, so the range wouldn't have formed. Let's take a look at the other one. So I will take a look at gold and Brent. Of course, if you need to look at futures, you can take a look at futures. I did a futures workshop last week, full 5 days. It was really great, really enjoyed giving lots of good information over there, over the 5 days of live trading and topics, where I was taking a look at a lot of futures. Now, I'm just using spot, doesn't matter really. I mean, the concepts can be applied to anything. Now, in terms of this, let me show you here. So what I'm taking a look at, this is an uptrend phase 1 at the moment. So uptrend phase 1. So let's take a look over here. Let me just update this table. I'll show it to you in a minute. And here, this is uptrend phase 1. On the 4-hour, there's another uptrend phase 1 as well. Here as well. On the 1-hour time frame, let me take a look over here. On the 1-hour, let me see. On the 1-hour, so let me just put this 1-hour here at the moment. And then that will populate it. Let me just expand that up as well. I'm just taking a look at the trend box here, which, comes from our quantified market structure, okay? So if you look at all the arrows that will point for a top or a bottom, so usually a top is an orange arrow, and then after that, you can see that over here, orange arrow here, and then the bottom is a blue arrow, if you can see. So if I were to hide the stats table, I'll come to the stats table in a minute. If I were to hide that, I'll give you some reference links as well. So since some of you are asking about the reference link, now those of you who want to go and check out 7stepstoctp.com, okay? So that will explain all of this, what I'm rushing through here. But a little bit later, I will explain a little bit more. But that's the place to find out everything, and then you'll get the 7 videos. Okay, I'll talk about this later on. Now, coming back into here, what I've got here is we've got a quantified market structure, which is what I was talking about last week as well, to the futures crowd. And you can see that this one here is, I can clearly see from a systematic quantified way that that is an uptrend phase 2 at the moment. So you're still looking towards the upside. That's on the gold over here. So let me just update this table. Some of you already using this table already. I'll show it to you in a minute, in a while. 15-minute time frame on the other hand, over here you can see, let me see that. 15-minute on the other hand, this is a downtrend phase 1 at the moment, okay? So this is the first thing that we do over here, just to see the trend alignment across the different time frames, okay? So downtrend phase 1. Another principle that we take a look at is what we call the stretch principle, okay? Now, that I'll do it quickly because I don't take too much time. I'll give you all some reference links to look at. I went through this in much detail in the last workshop over there. Is the stretch, I can see is taken to the downside, the latest one. So I'm just going to do that over here, to the downside, isn't it? Both, but latest to the downside, range lines wise. Now this is 12, so 12 o'clock and 8 a.m., isn't it? Yeah, it's taken it to the downside as well. So latest is the lower range line, and the broad to ST, let me see, that one, I'm not really getting anything. So that one here, don't worry if you don't understand these terminologies, but I'll give you some reference links later as well. So in terms of this one, so that will be NA, and then previous daily high and low. I would be taking a look at this. That's also NA as well. Okay, so not really the best. So the table looks like this. You see, once I've populated all of this, it looks like that. So the first 4 columns towards trend alignment, right, to see what direction to take. And the next 4 also, but it's analyzing the bar mechanics, okay? Now over here, then I can form a bias. So what we do here is with any entry parameters, I've gone through this a bit before, there are 2 things you're always looking at. One is direction bias, then the other one is timing, okay? And over the last 5 days when I did the futures workshop, we were having some live trading as well. So then we were then taking a look step by step as well, like where to enter, you know, in terms of the timing and everything. So we went through in detail. And if you guys want to get the recording, you can always email us as well, okay? Right, so this is what we have then. So we got the direction bias first, and then we got the timing. So with direction bias wise, if I take a look across this first 4 time frames, you can see that's towards the uptrend. But you know, one concern for me is this is an uptrend phase 2. Direction is pointing down. So will the 15-minute override that? But overall, the trend is on the upside. But then the bar mechanics is fighting against it, right? So, but it's saying it's looking to go down, you see, but the latest range is towards the downside, right? So it's quite difficult to say at this moment which way it's going to go. So I'm just going to put NA for now here, direction bias. The only way you can overcome this, if you really adamant on trading the gold, the only way is through timing. The only place where I would like to get into this would be where here, when it takes out that down candle there, and then our stop accordingly for the upside. Okay, so that's where we would like to get in. Okay, if I want to go on the short side, so this one here, so let me do that. That's right. Now, however, if this does turn to the upside here, another place to look at to come in long towards higher time frames correlation is this level here, okay? So we'll see how that goes. And the volume is spiking up towards the upside here. Now, what is the volume story saying for the VSA traders, which we take a look as well? In fact, the framework that we got over here is just a quantified structure of VSA basically, okay? Right. Now, what we are looking at here in the terms of the volume is rising, right? Especially across these two bars, and that's not really usually a good sign. Strength on rising volume, okay? So I would say that, let's see, I mean, I would say the strength of the move will go even more faster if at least the bare minimum, if it takes out the low of this bar here. I'm looking at the 15-minute. If I go on the 5-minute, I can take a look as well. Yeah, no top yet confirmed on that one. So it's still staying true. That's on gold, not the best. Sometimes another thing that I also say is that if one instrument is not giving you a clear-cut, bias, look at other instruments, right? The market has got so many thousands of instruments, okay? So that's what we can be doing. So I'll look at one more. I'm just aware of time. And also, remember that a lot of people just, I did mention this last week as well, on the futures workshop, is that, a lot of people just keep going on strategy, and they keep running after strategy. But remember that strategy is just only one component. It's only 33% of the entire puzzle. The topic that we got today, the system versus the cash curve, right? System versus cash. We will take a look also how that forms another important critical component of your three components that you need to have for your trading system, not just strategy, okay? All professionals will have all of those things covered. Right, so let me take a look at one more. Brent, which has been one of the most popular, widely covered topics now because of the Iran war, which we covered in the last session as well. So let's take a look at this, where we did some analysis. You can take a look at it in our YouTube channel as well, where we went here. You see Iran conflict, what's happening with crude and everything. We did a in-depth analysis. So let me quickly do this. So let me see the ATR here. So this is on Trade Nation. So 756. How much has it done today? 720, 677, isn't it? Let me just quickly do that again. So 756. Remember, they are doing their decimal points with, let me see, $7. Yeah, so 2 decimal points, right? So when I say 756 is $7 basically, okay? So here, what do we have? We have 604. So it has done its range on the daily time frame. Maybe I'll take a look at one more then, if this has done it. But with the volatility right now, it is doing more than its ATR 10, isn't it? So let's see what it's saying across all the different time frames. So everything is in an uptrend, right? It's clear cut over here. So let me do this. Let me see if we can position ourselves. And I think everything would be to the upside as well, okay? Over here as well. So let me just hide this for a moment. Maybe I need to get I'll do the VSA light over here. That will be fine. Okay, good. So I've got, what do I have here? So this is a bit more clear cut here. So I've got, let's see, uptrend phase one, it just confirmed its bottom there. This is really good, traders. We should actually look into this trade. I'll give the trade call in a minute. We'll put it on our Telegram channel as well. So this one is uptrend phase one at the moment. Range lines, latest 9, isn't it? It's taken out 8, but it hasn't done the 12 o'clock one. Okay, so has it done the 12 o'clock? Nope. So it has done latest up. That's fine. I'll just keep it like that. And then I'm just going to take a quick look on the daily. Yes, that's towards the upside as well. And previous daily high and low, nope, that hasn't taken out. That's quite clear long side. So if you take a look at my table here, you see, it's clear cut, isn't it? Across the 8 columns, 7 columns are to the upside, and then the previous daily high and low only not aligning. So that's a clear cut direction bias to the upside. My only concern is that the range has been done 80%, but let's go for 1 ATR. And it's a good setup at the moment. So now we time ourselves, okay? So here is a classical VSA setup, you see? It's quite clear, isn't it? So the volume is coming up, but it's coming up on a seller bar. So strength on weakness, that's what we want, right? So on that basis, what we will take a look at is, I want this area to be cleared at the moment. Okay, so at 12, yeah, this one would be the one, isn't it, for today? So this is what we want to be taking a look at. Okay, today's range starts from here. Okay, that's what is showing you. Right, so from here, just a quick one. What I will do, I want to get in once it clears this area, which is also the range for today as well. Okay. I'll give you some reference lines. I know some of you are asking for it. We've got to be quick on this one. So let me give you the exact levels. So 90, 41, 90, 42, 90, 44. Make sure that you put the spreads in place. Trade Nation is quite good on that. They got very tight spreads as well. Some of our traders were trading it through them. They would say that. 90, 42, isn't it? So 9042, 9044 is what I'm saying. Where is that? 9050. So let's give a 5-cent spread. 9042, 43, 9048, if you really want to go for it. 48. Okay. And then the stop would go for the low of this bar, 8581. Right, 8581. Okay. And then, yeah, that's fine. And then finally, traders, what we're looking at here is the 1 ATR number. The reason for the 1 ATR number, because we've got the OE stats over here. I'm taking it from here, you know, from the OE, which we have programmed it. That will tell you your target probability, okay? So I don't have time to go through that, but I'll show you some reference links on 7stepstoctp.com. So here on the 1 ATR level 194, isn't it? At the moment it's $2.44, okay? So what I would do is, on the high, 9041, this on the 1 hour time frame. Let's see if I can do a smaller target, and then I'll give you both the targets. Okay, so 9041 plus, we can just go for $2, okay? Plus $2. So 92, if I want to do it properly, $2.44, 92.85, isn't it? 92.85 is what I'm going for. Yeah, okay. 92.85. Right, now I will do a smaller target as well. I will quickly do this, just bear with me. So here, it's a 756, isn't it? So the low, 8661 plus 756, 8661. Actually, in fact, yeah, never mind. Plus 756, 1 plus 756. 9417. Okay, so this is well before that. That's fine. 9417. Okay, so we got that one there. And then right, so I've got all of that in place. And the last thing I'll look at is the 15-minute. Okay. I thought, yeah, I didn't have that loaded just now. That's fine. So here on there we go. So we want that. That's a good level then, because that's where the trend change will happen as well in Brent. So here, what I'm taking a look at is this ATR number. So $1.36, isn't it? Yeah, $1.36. So if I want to do a smaller target, 90.42 plus $1.36, 90.42 plus $1.36, 91.78, right? So we'll do a 91.70 just to give some leeway. So 91.17, okay? Good. So I think we can go ahead with this. There can be two target levels. So I will put it on the Zoom chat here. And then the team can then put it across to the Telegram channel. So those of you on Telegram channel, you can see that. And you can just monitor it. Of course, everything is for educational purposes only. So you can see entry is for 90.48. Remember to add your spreads on top of this. And stop loss, we will carry on for 85.81. Right. And then your target will go for your target one, 91.70, right? Which is where we'll go for. So target one, 91.70, and then target two will be for 92.85, okay? So there we go. So I've put that on the Zoom chat. Yep, I just forgot the decimal point for one of them. Let me just edit that. Oops, looks like I can't edit it. Okay, never mind. Let me just do that one more time. So target should be 89.17. Okay. Target one. Did I write that correctly? 90. No, sorry. So 90. Wait. So 91.17. So I think I put the 8 wrongly. Okay, there you go. 91. 91.70, 92.85. So there you go. So I've put all that into the Zoom chat. So we'll observe this and we'll see how that goes, and that will come onto your Telegram, okay? I'll keep this on the other screen. We'll see how that plays out. So that's our entry, that's our stop, and then that's our 3 targets there. But I'll just go for the first 2 to begin with. So the first 2 is 91.7 based on 15-minute. And then this one is at 92.85, the 1 hour range. And then after that 1 hour target stats. And then that one here is on your, basically on your 1 ATR being formed, okay? So wait and see how this plans out to be. Remember that some of you have been asking like, okay, some of these terminologies and all that, how do I've listened to them before, but I've forgotten them. I want to revisit them. Or those of you who are saying like, I just don't know where to begin. I would say the first place to go for this, it would be here, 7 steps to CTP.com. Okay, so here we'll break it down, okay, step by step. That's the first place you need to go. After you put your contact details in, click on the green button here, I'm not a robot, then you get the 7 videos, okay? Now the 7 videos, what they do is they start with a problem that they solved back in the 1970s, okay? Right, basically with the inconsistency, right? the problem that the main problem that really causes inconsistency. That's what it's about, the main challenge. After that, how to solve that problem. Okay. In fact, all of these things we learned it from institutional quant traders. Okay, really big geniuses out there. And then after that, then we will look at how to quantify the tops and bottoms to create your market structure, which is what you're seeing over here across all the different instruments, isn't it? Now here on the S&P and all that, you see all the orange arrows, the blue arrows, you see all these dots where the confirmation begins. All of this will be described here in much more in detail, okay, in your tops and bottoms over there. All right, the second video. Then after that, you will then see, let me just go on to here. I think we got, good. I think talking about that, I think we got, let's see, 89, 91, 40. I'm just keeping an eye on here. 89.26. Okay, yeah, got it. I just saw that thing. Okay, good. So we got that one there. So that was what I was talking about, right? So quantify the tops and bottoms. So you see all the tops and bottoms on any time frame. So even if you look at the Brent over here as well, so you see any time frames, the market structure is there for you, the blue and the orange. So by there, I can then convert it into a line diagram, and then it can tell me its trend at the moment. Okay, right? And then I align it across all the different time frames, right? So this is what I'm doing first. All right. So that's on the second video that we take a look to create the market structure. Very, very important, very critical. From the market structure, then you get the three critical stats. This is very powerful, right? One of them is for target, the other one is for initial stop loss, and then the other one will be for trailing stop as well. So this is very, very powerful. And then it will also teach you how you can now trade based on probabilities, right? Because a lot of people say that trading is based on probabilities, but they never give you the probability numbers. And we're the only company which does that, so far as all our clients have researched it. In fact, the entire framework that you're also seeing here on the trading view, right, with all the trend box and everything, was all coded by our traders, right, in-house. So, you know, it really shows you how powerful the product is, because the community itself uplifts the community, okay? And then the last two videos you can see over here, video 6 and 7, will tell you how to apply this into a strategy, okay? So this is quite powerful, so I highly recommend for you guys to look at that, 7stepstoctp.com. So once you've put in your details, you'll get all the videos. Now, those of you who watched that, revisited it quite a few times, and the fans live call on review, you know, you can go to our SMI Elite OE page over here, and you can get the indicator onto your screens, all right? It's based on the smart money framework, which was developed back in the 1970s, based on actually highly largely on Richard Wyckoff's principles, which was then popularized by Tom Williams, okay? So you can take a look at all of that over there. Now, some of you want to go to our YouTube channel and not miss any of our live streams. What you can also do, you can subscribe, hit the subscribe button. So that's youtube.com/master the markets. After you get there, after you hit the subscribe button, click on the all bell icon, okay? After you've done that, you see, what you can do is, over here, you can then, some of the videos you can definitely watch is definitely the ones on the first row are good. The ones for consistent performance, we will rearrange all of this in a bit as well, so as to give you the best value here. Now, in terms of, this was a really popular one, 2025 results, but in terms of what I was looking at, recommending to you guys to look at is the stretch principle videos, okay? So those are quite good as well, all right? So those are the ones I will highlight to you if you want to take a look at all our past live streams. Some are here on the first row here, or you can go on to here as well, okay, on the live section here, and then look at all the trades that we've taken live also. Good. I think with that said, I just want to quickly, swiftly move on to the topic. Quick shout out to Trade Nation as well. Awesome broker over here. Really tight spreads and everything, right? That you get from these guys. Really very friendly as well. So definitely, if you want to open up an account, you can see the details on the Telegram channel, or also when you join our email list, then you also will get all the details. I mean, those of you who join the email list, just the best way is get on the 7stepsctp.com and you will find the details. Okay, right. I think with that said, I will keep all of this in the other screen over here. I'll monitor this, right? And then we will see how that plans out to be. Okay, good. I think with that said, I'll keep an eye on here, and then let me go on to the um, the topic for today, which is system versus cache. Okay, the major reason for inconsistency. Now, what are the main things that really cause? What is this system and cache? So let's go and take a look. Right, the main reason why people get inconsistent is first they don't have this. They don't understand what is system versus cache. Okay, I'll explain in a minute. And also remember, this is part of the PC component. In fact, it's part of the third component in your trading system. It's the performance component. Okay, right? It's not part of the strategy. Now, everybody just keeps running towards strategy, but they don't have this performance component, which I will go through in a minute, right? The second thing also, they don't have this TJ stuff. Now, what is that TJ? I'll explain that in a minute, which is part of this performance component as well. And then they don't know how to analyze as well, right? They don't know how to do any kind of analysis, what to analyze even, right? And then finally, also the thing is they don't know this main question, when to stop, right? And I'll be covering all of that. This is what also creates the inconsistency. There's so many parts to this, traders, right? And then it's sad when people say, you know what, yes, I can do this all myself, because there's so many parts to this that it's really very difficult to do it yourself without a help of a mentor. It's like saying, I want to learn to drive without the help of anybody, right? And in fact, you can't as well. It's all regulated, right? So, or it's like saying, I want to do some surgery on someone without the help of anybody learning anything. It's like saying that. It's such a big, vast field out there that you need some help from good mentors who have gone across, and really been through it, some professionals. So here, what the first thing I would say, let's cover the first thing, right? About what is it, right? So what is it? This thing about, the system versus the cache. What is the system? What is the cache? So now the system basically means, those of you who've been with us for quite some time, you will understand this. The system basically means what theoretically would have happened if a robot were to execute those trades. Okay, if a robot were to execute those trades, how would that look like? Okay, that's what we are looking like. So basically, like according to your rules, so if you got your strategy rules written out, okay, and you program that into a machine, okay, that's what this system curve should be, right? Theoretically, that's the TH. Theoretically, what should have happened? And then, of course, then we got the actual, right? The actual is where how did the cache, this is what we call the cache. What actually happened? As you and I know, you might have written some rules on your system curve, but then, you know, maybe some days, there was fatigue, you were tired, or some days you might think, oh, this strategy is not working. I already had 4 losses in a row. Forget it. I'm not going to take that trade, right? And then, however, if a robot, or theoretically, if you were to place it that day, and then that becomes your biggest trade, right? Which would have overridden all the losses, right? And that is what we mean. But then the cache would lag behind. Okay, so that is what we mean by the system versus the cache curve. You need to have both. So if I were to give you some examples here, so this is what we track over here. So let me show you over here. If I can bring this up, let me bring that up over here. Right, right. So here, Right, so this one here. So this is what you would have seen our journal over here, right? So our journal over here, see, it records everything. Okay, this is your system curve. Okay, then our clients or us, when we trade it, then we got another curve. So you see, the system curve is over here, right? You can ignore this part here because that is just pre-programmed. But this part here, okay, because the formula is going to kick in for the next month. That's why it's showing that. Okay. So here you can see for the first 3 months what our progress is for each of the strategies, and then you can then see what the each month's performance is. So this year we've been lucky. I mean, January was very strong, and then February was a drawdown, and then March has picked up again. But every single trade is logged onto here. Okay, this is very, very important, right? So that's what we do. Now that actually brings me to the next part, okay, right? Which is where do you log all of this in? But before I come to that, some of you have already guessed. Now some of you are saying on the messages that yes, but there'll be a gap, right, Tiru? You see, theoretically, what would have formed maybe is something like that, right? According to our LTR journal. But then actually, let's say some trades you miss, some trades you don't put stop loss. I hear all kinds of things, don't worry, from all our clients. And or from people who want to coming in, not being trained by us. And then you see, then the curve is really like, instead of it taking out its last peak, it's still on the downside. So maybe it's minus 5%, but then the system curve is showing a big positive. Okay, let's say it's as of now we are up 19% in our this year. So it's a big disparity, isn't it? So this is why even in the book Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, they say that any professional should have a system curve. So you see, this is your system curve, right? And then you should also have another one, which is your cash curve. Let's say the cash curve is something like this. Okay, that's your cash. Now the gap between those two curves is what we call the profit gap. Okay, right? The profit, not profit, profit gap. All right, that's what the terminology they gave in the book Trading in the Zone. Right now, as I said, what are the reasons for all of that? It could be fear, it could be greed, you think it's going to go up more, and then you miss the trade, all of those things that creates the gap over here. All right. So that one there on here. Okay, good. Now let's keep going. The next thing, where should I be logging all this? What's that TJ? That some of you would have already guessed it out. That's what we call the trade journal, okay? Which is what you just saw just now, which is what I just showed you over here, okay? Right, the trade journal over here, isn't it, right? Every single trade, you log it, trade by trade, okay? Now, out of all of this, what are we looking to analyze? Yeah, some of you might say, that I can already log it using some software and all that. That's fine, right? As long as you got some kind of logging mechanism, right? After you log all these trades, then the last thing is you should ask yourself, okay, but what am I analyzing to in that trade journal? Most people don't even have a trade journal, right? It's a big thing. I mean, 70-80% of people don't have a trade journal. They're just running after strategy, just only one of the component. That's another reason why they cannot get consistent performance. After 7-8 years, we got people coming after 10-15 years, still can't make it consistent performance yet. So what are you really analyzing? In that trade journal, what you're really looking for is three stats mainly. And what you're really looking for is the reliability first, the reliability of your strategy. So if you take a look over here, we got all that being tracked. I'll talk about that in a minute. But reliability is what percentage of the time does your strategy win? Okay. The other thing you should be looking at is your actual reward to risk ratio. Okay. Right. How much they actually do compared to your expected. Okay. Then the other thing you should be looking at is your profit factor, okay, which is part of your reward to risk ratio over here. Oh, another thing also you can be taking a look at, sometimes people refer the profit factor to the expectancy number of your strategy. Okay, so all these three stats you need to be looking at as well, right? So if I were to go back to here, we analyze all of that. Now, some of you might be thinking, you see all of this here, you see in this table here, right? We are analyzing all of this, all right? So that's what you should be looking at that as well. But what are you really looking at and comparing it against? Against your back testing or your previous years results and seeing how it's monitoring. And what is the main stat? What is the main thing that you also want to be analyzing after this? That comes to the last part here, the bonus one. What I want to say is, sometimes you're taking the trade, you're having a few losses, let's say 4 to 5 losses, and you're thinking, you know what, let's stop. I can't take this anymore, right? I mean, sometimes if you see in our 2025 analysis as well, I would have shown this to you. Let's imagine if the first 2 months were negative. If I were to go back into here, LTR performance cumulative, right? So I were to take a look at all the previous years. If you take a look over here, right? If you look at 2025, first 2 months were negative, right? zero point 0.4, very little on January. And then in February, look at that. That's negative, isn't it? 4.25, right? Overall is negative, right? After this 2 months, 60 days of trading, and you're like, man, this thing is just not taking up. Let me stop it. And then that's it. You lose the third month, right? Or the big profits, where it comes in. So this big question of when to stop is just not after just losses and all of that. Let's say 1 month, 2 months of losses. The main thing you should be really looking at is the drawdowns, right? You need to know the three types of drawdowns in your strategy. Okay, you need to have all of this prepared right from the beginning, right? You need to analyze all of that. Now, after you've looked at all of these three types of drawdowns and everything, and if it's exceeded it, and there is multiple factor of that drawdown that you should be looking at as well. Okay, if it's exceeded that multiple factor of that drawdown, then only you stop your strategy. Okay, and then also another thing that you also should be doing continuously, right, traders, which I tell all our clients, who's gone through Traders Basecamp package and all of that. Those of you who want to know more about Traders Basecamp package, there's one coming up at the end of this month. I highly recommend all traders to look at it. It's happening at the end of the month. If you want to email us, we can give you more details about that, right? I highly recommend everyone to go through Traders Basecamp package, which is really for intermediate and professional traders, really. Beginners, of course, can join as well. It brings them up to speed. But it goes through all of this. I mean, all the three components, strategy, construction, all of that. But in all of this, we stress really this point here, the main question. What is the main question you should be always asking yourself as you're trading, going through losses, drawdowns, everything? Is why must my strategy, right? And this main question, right, I tell you, is the biggest one that Ray Dalio asks. Ray Dalio, for those of you who do not know, is the biggest hedge fund manager with $160 billion assets under management. And he says the main question you got to really ask yourself is, why must your strategy continue to work? Okay, why must your strategy continue to work? In other words, the edge of your strategy, the edge that will keep it sustaining, scaling, and reproducing. So this all must be very clear within your mind. Then for that, you got to go back into your strategy construction rules. Why were they designed in such a way, right? Why will it sustain it? Why will it scale? Why will it make it reproduce? Right? Why will it make it go past the drawdowns? All these things you have to reflect on. Okay, right? So that's why I'm telling you, traders, there's a lot in for you to really analyze and do to get that confidence and that consistency. And that's why a good mentor to guide you is very, very critical. And that's why most of our clients who join us, they never go anywhere for more than 10 years. In fact, if you've seen all the things that you're really seeing on TradingView and all that. In fact, there's more I can show you. It will really blow your mind. But all this is by our clients, really, to be honest, right? That you are seeing over here. So in summary, what will I say? And I just got to keep an eye on Brent as well. I'll show you guys how that's doing in a minute, and then we can close up. But what is the summary points, what I can say in terms of all of this system versus cash? First, definitely have a system versus cash curve. You need to monitor it, because what you guys are probably losing confidence is out of your cash curve, right? But if your system is doing well, theoretically what you should have done, and you're seeing it in front of you, you should give you the confidence to carry on, okay? Right? The second thing is a trade journal. You need to log all of this, okay, into all a journal, so that you can then look at what the gap is, also the profit gap, right, between the system versus the cash. Then the third thing, traders, what we went through was basically after you got this system versus cash, then you got this trade journal, then the three stats that you should be looking at as well. So we went through that as well, which is basically one is your reliability, then after that your reward to risk ratio, and then after that your expectancy number. Okay. Then the final thing what I also said is this one here, right? When to stop. Okay, drawdowns. Mainly you should know your drawdowns from your strategy performance, from your testings and everything. And then the main question that you should be always asking yourself. Okay, this is how, with the system versus the cash curve component, which is part of the performance component, then you can have the confidence to pull through your system and then get consistent performance. And the main part for that is towards how you construct your strategy, okay, towards it being sustainable, scalable, and reproducible. Okay, with that said, I just want to quick look at Brent over here. I think just as we took a look at Brent, it's coming back up again. Let's see if it does take out that high of ours. We will monitor that. Okay, looks like some volume is coming back in. It did go back a little bit down. It's on 15-minute. If it does take that out, then our trend will change. So I will monitor that in the background on the Telegram channel. You guys will get the updates on that. Now, the first place, what I will just say is a recap for all the reference links for those of you joined in late. 7stepsctp.com is the first place you should go to really analyze this, and also, keep in touch with us as well, with our emails and everything that's going on. And you can also see some upcoming events, really some good events that will really help you also meet another inspiring traders as well, So all those things over there, 7stepsctp.com over there. And then you get the 7 videos, you can watch through it. Those of you who want to get the indicators and the framework, with not only the indicator, by the way, I just tell you that, I think the boys did modify this. You see everything, what you get here, it tells you not just the indicator, but everything else. You see there is also monthly momentum sessions, group sessions that happens every once a month. Also, you get 3 strategies as well. Rules, that's all in your portal, your members portal. There's a phenomenal job that we have done over here. Really good knowledge compilation. And then on top of that, you also get a one-to-one session as well. Okay, so all of this, so it's not just the indicator, but a lot of quite support along with the framework and the indicator as well. Remember also that this is not a buy and sell indicator. This is a framework that you can use according with any strategies. Okay, right, or methodologies. As I show you just now, that with the volume as well, you can use it via say youtube.com/master the markets. After you hit the subscribe button, click on the all bell icon. And finally, quick shout out to Trade Nation. If you guys want to open up a broker account with them, you can follow the link across with that. And then we got some nice bonuses as well when you open up a account with them. And then you will get that nice bonuses with us also as well. You can email us on that. Right, I guess that's pretty much that from us. I'll keep an eye on how Brent does over here, and then we'll see how that all plans out to be, okay? And we will update you on the Telegram channel. So I'll leave you with that, 7starctp.com. That will be the first place to go to. I think other than that, traders, that's a wrap up for today. And as we always say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master. Take care and bye for now.